What's up, guys? Farm Wrestler here today. It's hay cutting day. I'm in the John Deere 4890 swather. It's a 18-foot header. It's really too wide. I have trouble getting through a lot of different gates, roadways, all that sort of thing, but it is what it is. We got this 60-acre field that we're going to cut today. Depending on the conditions and everything, I can usually run 5.5 miles per hour and cut somewhere theoretically in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 acres per hour. But we'll see how it goes today. I'm just getting the machine warmed up. I got to get the float set. And what the float is it's a hydraulic system that manages the weight of the header, basically. You don't want the header, the full weight of the header, sitting on the ground. It wears out your feet down there. So we'll get that set. It's just buttons in here in the cab. I'll show you that at some point. And get the machine warmed up and we'll start cutting. Hopefully everything goes well today. You know, machine maintenance is really important. I mean, a lot of times 5 minutes of maintenance will save you thousands of dollars down the road. I like to grease the header every time I get in the machine, grease the sickle. But you can imagine maintenance costs is one of the biggest costs, but repairs are a lot worse. So, and I've got a few different things I need to do on this thing. There's always stuff that needs to be done. It's about time to replace all the guards on the sickle header here. They're getting pretty worn and short, so probably after this hay season that's going to get done. I've also got a hydraulic leak on the header hose up here. It's a slow drip, but you know, every couple hundred acres, you know, I got to put a couple gallons of hydraulic fluid in, and so just little things like that need to be taken care of. This has been a great machine. Everything else that I've ever had, this is my first self-propelled swather. I've had it now for about 5 years, and I mean, some of the old machines that I was using, you know, pull behind type, depending on what I was cutting, I might only be getting like 2 acres per hour. No air conditioning, you know, it was open station and everything. So this has been one of the best things I've ever bought, and already paid for itself several times over. It's probably been a healthy decision, you know, for my family and for my health, not being in the sun and the heat for 12 hours a day, you know, to cut maybe 30 acres. So one of the best things I've ever bought. Get turned into this field. We'll get everything going here. So we'll go ahead and click the machine on, turn the header on. It's just this is kind of the control center of everything. Raising and lowering the head, changing the reel speed, head tilt here, which I'll use quite a bit in this field because there's an awful lot of gopher holes in some sections. So in order not to go through too many gopher holes, I'll increase the angle so that I won't cut as short there, but we'll stay out of the gopher holes. So to turn the head on, I'm there. The reel's going, the sickle's going, everything should be going now. And then we'll go ahead and go full throttle. And it's interesting because the machine shakes a lot at full throttle with the header on, but it wasn't designed to run without material going through it. And once it's running, once it's got material, once it's cutting, the machine is full, it runs super smooth. But just an interesting observation over the last 5 years of running this thing. Trees and creek side of things. So the general rule of thumb is for every foot that a creek or a wash or anything like that is deep, you should stay back an equal distance. So if the creek's 30 feet deep, you should stay back, 30 feet. If it's 10 feet deep, you should stay back 10 feet. And I'm a little bit closer than that right now, especially given the amount of rain we've had this year. That's when things tend to slump off, but I'm just trying to balance maximum yields with what I'm comfortable with. I'll try to get you a shot of the creek here. The Johnson grass is so tall right here that it makes it difficult, but we'll stop and get you a shot of the creek so you can see what I'm dealing with. Hopefully I don't step on a rattlesnake. Hopefully I don't fall off the edge. So this is the creek I deal with. And this part actually isn't as steep. It's dropped down a few times. There's times where it's just a straight, 30, 40 foot cliff down, but we'll get back to it. So that was the first pass. It took probably 25 minutes to go around the first time. I'll make 6 loops around the entire property, and that gives me more room to turn when I'm raking. After I make 6 loops, I'll start just doing straight lines back and forth. That's what works for me. It also knocks off some of these small areas that are just kind of a pain to operate in with bigger machinery, but it seems to be cutting pretty good. It's not cutting as clean as I'd like. Probably just was going a little too fast on that first pass. I like going back and forth better than going around. Going around just seems like you're kind of getting nowhere, but going back and forth, you get into a rhythm and just turn the radio on and get it done. So that's where we're at. I'll try to give you a view of the cut row over here. For some reason in this field around the edges, I'm getting a little bit of a sandburr problem. sprayed along one of the roads to try to knock them down, and it did a good job, but I didn't realize we were getting sandburrs along the road over here too. So what I'll probably do is, you know, just mentally note where these sandburrs are, and maybe not rake them because I don't want to knock all the seeds off, but I'll just bale up a sandburr bale and stick it in a wash, because those things spread like wildfire, and they're not real easy to get rid of without getting rid of everything else. I mean, if anybody knows a good way to get rid of sandburrs that's not just, you know, dumping loads of chemical on everything, let me know in the comments. But I'm getting more and more of them in different places. I know I'm tracking some around with the UTV, but you know, they can take over, and you know, nothing better than working on a machine in the field on a bed of sandburrs. I don't really care to roll around in them that much, but we'll see. this is kind of some of the stuff you deal with. I pick it up, you know, before the grass gets too tall, but there's always more. But this is the kind of stuff that'll ruin your day. Not huge, but it's big enough to mess things up. You know, another thing that is a problem, shed antlers. I wish the deer would always just shed them off to the side so I wouldn't hit them, but I've hit those. I've put those through tires actually, and it's just one more thing. So luckily I lifted up. I saw that branch, I lifted up. That's why it's not cut here. But it's just another thing we deal with. Not a big deal. After a big windstorm, it's a big deal. Or a flood. I've had, you know, hundreds of feet of water. I've had rivers going across some of these fields before and just leave a huge debris field across when the creek floods, and that's a nightmare. That's days of work to clean that up, and usually we've lost a bunch of fence, but we'll get back to it. So earlier I was bragging about, you know, being in a cab and AC and that sort of thing, and I just took a break for lunch, got back in the machine, everything was working fine, but I quickly realized that the AC is not blowing cold at all, and that's a problem when it's 103 out. So we're gonna shut it down and just see if it's anything obvious like a fuse or something, because I was almost chilly earlier today with it, you know, set on low fan speed, but it's probably already hotter in the cab than it is outside, and if I have to, I'll run with the door open for a while, but hopefully I can figure out what's going on. But it looks like it's going to be an uncomfortable afternoon, so this goes with the territory, I guess. So we're out here. It doesn't look like there is any fuses for the air conditioning here. It's got a handy little road map. I wish everything had this, lets you know what every fuse and relay does. There's a breaker for heat vent AC. There's a relay for heat vent and AC, so it could be one of those. Another thing I noticed, something farmers all hate, I've had probably a rat in here chewing on wires, so no real way to tell what that is right now, but I don't know if that's what's giving me a problem, if there's just a bad enough, that wire is chewed through enough where it's not allowing the compressor to kick on. But I think we're just gonna not have AC today, which is a serious bummer. We'll get it back to the shop and see if we can figure it out, but it's gonna be a hot one, so pardon my upcoming sweatiness, as it's gonna get pretty bad. So I guess I like dramatic videos, maybe, I don't know, but I'll just look down at myself and I am covered in ants somehow. So I guess when it rains it pours. I think I'll get these off me before they start biting. So we're stopped here, having Grandpa bring the ohm meter over so we can maybe see what's going on. It's pretty miserable. And I don't know if it's my mind playing tricks on me or what, but I smell something that's hot, and it's only when I'm going one direction. I don't know if it's the wind is blowing it, you know, in here from one direction but not from the other. So we're going to investigate that and see what's going on. Well guys, I think we got it figured out here. Gonna shut us down probably today. Bearing on the compressor here. I'll try to show you this here. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's sizzling, it's hot, and you can see, or I don't know if you can see, but that pulley is angled down. It should be running straight out, but the gap up here is bigger than it is down here. That bearing's gone, so most likely we'll just end up having to replace the whole compressor, which is a little bit of a bummer because that thing's only about 2 years old. So we'll have to get a new one and recharge the system, but I'm not going to run anymore because I said I was smelling heat, and that's where the heat was coming from for sure. So it's not a crazy fix, but I don't want to run that anymore and have stuff start flying apart or start a fire, obviously. So we'll get this taken care of and have to cut on another day. So we're heading back to the shop. It looks like that compressor that we put in a couple years ago is, we put it in about 2 years ago, but turns out it's with John Deere. I don't know if it's specific to our dealer or not, but you know, we installed the compressor and the parts associated with that, and if you install it yourself, it has a 1-year warranty, and if they install it, they give us a 3-year warranty. So unfortunately for me, it's out of warranty, and that part from John Deere, I mean, the last time I got it, I believe it was like $800 for that compressor, and so that's kind of a bummer. But probably what I'm going to have them do is come out and have them install it so I get the full warranty. But I mean, it's just, it is what it is. I'll spend a few $100 extra, I guess, to have them do it, but you know, then I'll have it under warranty in case it goes out again. I like warranties that make sense, and this is the 3rd compressor, I believe, that we've had go out on it. So having that 3-year warranty makes sense to me in this situation. So hopefully they'll be out tomorrow. They're usually pretty good about getting you back up in a hurry because they know farming has a schedule. So I think that's it for today. I'll probably go work on the cabin. The east side will be shady, and I haven't shown you guys any of that yet, but stay tuned. There'll be a video on the cabin, and I'll start taking you through that process. And I don't have video for a lot of the steps because it's been so long and drawn out, but stay tuned. I think a lot of you guys will find that interesting and pretty awesome. I know I have. Farm Wrestler signing out.